Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to NerdTube. And it's time to talk about Willow, brand new series on Disney Plus, starring the legendary Warwick Davis. This is a sequel series from the original movie back in 1988, with a couple of returning characters, Warwick Davis being one of them, and Joanne Whalley being another. No news on Val Kilmer if he's going to be in this show or not, but yeah, so far we've got 2 episodes out. Some other streamers who are bigger than us, unfortunately, have got more episodes than us. But still, we got the first 2 episodes from Disney Plus, and we watched it today. And P501, 501st said, "How was it?" Well, it was okay. It was for me. I'll ask if I call you Goliath, cousin Cheeto, his opinions on it in a second. But I personally found it okay. Um, we have obviously a brand new bunch of characters. We were set decades later from the original movie, so new people are involved, and it was good to see Joanne Whalley come back. She's obviously like the queen of this particular area. She's got a couple of kids. One of her sons kind of represents Mad Martigan, so to speak, whilst her daughter is a bit more like herself. And we see some of the love interests, and as well as the supporting cast and quirky characters, comic relief, all of that. Usual fare. We get a quest going on, and then they go on this quest. But before we start breaking down some of these elements of this episode, how did you find it, cousin Cheetah?
I found it kind of back and forth. I found the first episode to be really good. I really enjoyed the first episode. Um, I really had a rough time in the second episode, at least, especially in the beginning when they're doing the whole Warwick stuff, like with the bones and all that other stuff. And I know it's throwback and I know it's callback, but keep in mind, I just watched this movie for the first time, like this past weekend. So I'm not saying it's a terrible. I'm just saying, like, the first episode was really good. I really enjoyed the first episode. I loved a lot of the elements that they were introducing into this universe. They were kind of hinting at a older evil than even the crone that was in the first movie. But then in the second episode, yeah, there was a couple of cringe moments that I was kind of like, I don't know. So I mean, I almost feel like we need to rank these individually, like episode 1 and episode 2, when we get to that point, just because I'm like, it's going to be a pretty starkly different, balance of rating.
This is where me and you differ. Actually, I actually thought the first episode was the harder watch, and the second episode was a little bit better. Once Willow came on the scene, I thought, okay, finally we got fucking Willow here. I knew the way things were set up that we probably weren't going to see Willow until the end of episode 1, which was
And
the
that's what I
case.
feel. I assume that too. When I didn't see him about 15 minutes in, for any reason, like 15, 20 minutes in, I knew. I was like, okay, we're not going to see. He's going to be the cliffhanger, not cliffhanger, but he's going to be the black screen at the end. Is like Willow's going to come
Yeah,
out and say something, and it's going to be our first time seeing him.
Debbie 501 501st. I heard some negative and mixed too. That it was just okay, probably the most positive I heard. Well, I think with certain shows, just knocking out of the park, like Andor did. And there's a show myself and Ginger Greeks watching called The Tulsa King, which honestly got me hooked from the very first episode. I think people had maybe high expectations for this series. I did. I genuinely did. But then I saw the movie again the other day, and I realized, wow, this film hasn't aged well personally for me, and it's not as good as it was when I was a kid. Nevertheless, I still thought it was a fun, wholesome movie, and then because so much time has passed, that there's an opportunity now to maybe right the wrongs of the original movie and put some modern elements to it that would make it more palatable. But I'm not necessarily sure I got that straight away. But I am willing to give this a chance, because that's the best we can do. And on top of that, people always complain about, like, there's always going to be people who are on a different spectrum to myself and Cheeto who complain about stuff being woke and saying there's these particular characters, like there's a multiracial cast in this, there's lesbian characters, stuff like that. None of that shit bothers me. I'll tell you what bothers me: American accents in a medieval setting. That fucking bothers me.
That
bothers
was one of the
me.
things from the first episode, because like the
Really?
queen
Yeah.
was
Oh, first
was
episode. Yeah, first episode. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, like the
Yeah.
queen had a British accent, but then her kids both had American accents. But then
Mm.
the flag smasher, which is what I'm probably going to call her, I don't remember her name. The flag smasher lady was
Oh yeah, we're gonna be getting Flash Thompson and Flag Smasher today. By the way,
oh
we're gonna
yeah.
don't know.
Oh yeah. I knew that was coming.
We're gonna don't know
You
all
know,
the
I
names
like, but
properly
then she
yet.
has what's her accent? Is it British or is it something else? It
Joanne
sounds a
Wiley's
little
actually. The thing is, I've had John. As I said, I'll mention this again. I've had Joanne Wiley in my car. She was one of my customers when I was as I'm a cab driver. And her accent, I mean, she is a British actress. She's a British lady, but she's been living in America for a long time, so she sounds relatively American. Now, I know for a fact that being an actress, that she can obviously fine tune her voice to sound either more American or more British, depending on the character she's playing, like Matt Murdock's mum. But it was hard to tell what the fuck she was going for in this, to tell you the truth.
No, I actually meant Aaron Kellyman, Jade.
Oh, Flag Smasher.
Yeah, Flag Smasher.
Flag Smasher was definitely sounding British. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, maybe I
She
just
sounds like she's on like some British daytime soap. You know, that's how she sounds. Just a quick comment here from Daniel Vance. Cheers, not started yet. Need to rewatch the original first. Just dropping by to hit that like button. I'll hit you in the comments later. Oh, thank you very much.
we always love your
So,
support and comments.
so one of the things that needed to be resolved and answered to a degree was who was is it Elnora, and I'll get to that in a second. Actually, what was the issue with this particular series? What's it all about? Well, Willow never felt that the evil that kind of reigned over this planet, over this land, never fully went away, and he's obviously getting flashbacks and stuff like that. And yeah, there's still an evil, so to speak. And
Well,
in the first sorry, go on.
no, I was just gonna say I really feel like that they're leaning into the Tolkienness of this, because I mean
Oh
it's
yeah,
like
with the
Willow
book at the
is
beginning.
well, that and the fact that, like, okay, so Willow was like the Hobbit. It was just a adventure they went on, and you know there was, you know, I don't want to say low stakes, because the Hobbit wasn't low stakes, but it was definitely like nowhere near the stakes of like Lord of the Rings. So it's like I feel like that the Willow movie was like the Hobbit, a smaller adventure, but still an adventure nonetheless. You know, stuff like that. But now I feel like they're gonna swing for the fences with the show, because now they're like, oh, but there's where the crone got her big power. That's where she got her power from. And it's like I get it, like it makes sense, because obviously that crone was not the first evil person to ever exist. So it's like there's got to be something out there that's, you know, evil where she got all that power from. So, but it's just like I could definitely see the Tolkien parallels, where it's like, you know, Willow, the movie Willow was like the Hobbit, and now like this Willow show, they're gonna go for like Lord of the Rings, like it's gonna get big. You know, they're talking about going to unexplored lands and all this other stuff, and
The whole aesthetic and the sort of like cinematography and the visuals I was getting from this kind of reminded me of like Hercules, Legendary Journey, and Xena Warrior Princess. It had that sort of look about it with the old color scope and stuff like that. You know,
I can see that, yeah.
and I know what you mean regarding the tokenism, because when we had our kind of first battle in this episode was when these sort of like troll like monstrous bad guys, they come into the castle and they start breaking things up. I like the way that one monster had like a thing over his
Cage
head.
over his head.
Yeah,
He had
so
a
like
bird cage over his head.
Yeah, but I think to myself, you can't decapitate him. You know, which was one of the ways that stopped him. And we're meeting other characters as well. Like there's this one person, Soros, is that the name by the character played by Joanne Wiley? Let me just remind myself.
Sorsa.
Sorsa, yeah, Sorsha, yeah. She's talking to some dude in jail. You know what I mean? And then like she
Which
releases him.
I honestly, and I at the very beginning, I thought it might have been Mad Mardigan. Like I thought, like I knew the voice was a little bit different, but I'm like, you know, because they said, oh well, Mad Mardigan was gone, blah blah blah. Like, did she lock him up for some reason? Because maybe he was like he turned evil, you know, because she seemed very cozy with this person. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so
This guy seems to be a bit of a menace because he mentioned something
Yeah.
like he did with Velvet later on.
Oh, he's the Dr.
In the
Smith. He's going to
haberdashery.
betray them eventually.
You think so? No. I don't know. I'm not getting that vibe from him. I think he's a bit like Howling Mad Murdoch, from the A-Team. He's like weird, bizarre, but he will be by your side. He won't let you down.
Okay. I mean, I didn't get that vibe from him. I got the vibe of like he's eventually going to like betray them, like not leave them, but like he's eventually going to be like, well, the tide has turned, my friends, and now I am going this way. Like with the bad guys or whatever.
Well, we got that with that knight who got stabbed by that hot pokey in his arm, and then he kind of turned into bad guy. Like he kind of got controlled by the villains. I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
And
as soon as I saw the like little veiny things on his hand, I was like,
oh,
he's corrupted, is what I.
Yeah, he's corrupted. Not only that, but he's also able to infect his fellow knights, because that one particular knight was asking him, "What's up with you?" And then he turned around and go, "I'll tell you what's up with me." And he jumps on him and probably bit his neck and infected him, and probably
then
infected
became
the
a
rest of the
zombie.
Well, corrupted, as
I know.
As you said earlier. But when we had that battle, they were going after Eric, who's one of the twins, the twin brother of this brother and sister duo.
By the way, LucasArts dealing with those brother sister twins again. All we need them to do is kiss, and we got Lucas.
I don't think we'll be getting it this time around, especially as it's Disney.
Don't think so.
But but nevertheless, he's a bit of a Casanova.
No twin cest here.
Yeah, he's definitely a Casanova. He's like making out with maids and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And we also meet his sister as well, who bats for the other side, and she's very much into her best friend. And on top of that, she's supposed to be betrothed to Flash Thompson. So. And also, I noticed with Flash Thompson as well, I'm not sure if you caught a glimpse of his chest. He seems to have sort of black veiny marks on his chest, which I don't know what that.
I did not catch that. I'd have to go back and look.
And regarding Flash Thompson, he also has a thing for Elnora, who was the person who was making out with Eric earlier in this episode. So we found out that the baby Elnora has now become this young, pretty lady. And she is really infatuated with Eric. She thinks that they're going to get married and stuff like that. She obviously has the mark when Willow mentioned it to her. And at the same time, Flash Thompson's taken a liking to her as well. And, I'm a bit upset with the character of Graydon, played by Tony Rivoli, who plays Flash Thompson, because it kind of feels like he's playing Flash Thompson again to a degree. You know what I mean? I feel like it's...
I don't agree with that. I feel that I don't know. I feel like as a character, like the star, I mean he's probably got more star power than a lot of the actors here. Maybe not obviously more than Warwick and Joanne Wally. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like he's probably third. He's probably third bill in my opinion. On this cast list. So I really feel like they're underutilizing him, but at the same time, I'm okay with as long as he's a slow burn. And then as we kind of progress here, we'll get to see more and more of him. I don't know. I kind of like it. I kind of, he's a little bit of a slow burn. He's the reluctant, betrothed, whatever.
Well, he has no interest in Kit. So that's the name of the character.
Yeah.
He has no interest in her. They have no interest in each other, but they kind of almost accepted their fate. That they're going to be with each other. Okay, which is all right, fair enough. And then they said that that once we're in charge, we can change the rules, which is a good point, I guess.
Which is a very Aladdin thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. So they all go. We have this massive adventure. We also have Borman, who's this big Indian guy with a big beard and big long hair, British accent, a bit like me, and and he's good with a cleaver and stuff like that. I like I said, you think he's going to betray them. If he does, I'll tip my hat to you. But at this particular moment in time, I'm not getting that vibe from him. But we have our motley crew, and then obviously Elnora joins in, and then they finally meet Willow. And oh, by the way, before they met Willow, they were at this barrier. Now, this particular barrier thing, I'm like, what the hell is up with that? I mean, they mentioned it how it's supposed to divide the lands and make sure that certain parts of the world is still kept nice and clean looking and whatever. But there is a gap in that barrier, like you can walk through it. But when Enora walked up to it, she was able to open it herself.
Well, and that was
She,
the first clue that she was Elora
Elnora, yeah.
Elnora, whatever.
Elora, I keep calling it Elnora. Elora, sorry, yeah.
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 So I mean, that was kind of our first clue. Honestly, at the very beginning of the episode, when I saw those two girls, when I saw what are their names? When I saw Jade and Kit fighting, I honestly thought Jade might have been, because I mean, she has the red hair, and
Yeah,
she
exactly. I
had.
thought that too.
And I'm like, okay, I'm not like dissing it. Like I was like, okay, if that's her, whatever, like they didn't tell her that she's obviously the chosen one, or whatever, they didn't tell her that stuff, but she's kind of like best friends with the princess and everything. So it made sense why they would keep them close. Um, and then then the muffin girl like becomes Elnora, and
Yeah,
I'm
she can
like,
cook.
yeah, and I'm like, I'm not honest and truly, I don't have a problem with the actress, but I'm like, I'm really not on board with this. I really feel like thematically, and maybe they're gonna hit me with the curveball, because as I said, I don't have a problem with the actress who plays Elnora. I just I don't like the setup. Like I kind of wanted Jade to be secretly Elnora, and then just like that would kind of be like that would be that kind of dynamic.
I'm actually not too fussed with it. I'm not really the biggest fan of bait and switches, but on this particular occasion, because it happened so early on in the show,
Yeah,
that
like literally, was it the beginning of episode 2 or the end of it? No, it was the end of episode 1.
pretty much the end of episode 1. So no expectation, but I did initially think it was Jade as well because of the ginger hair, which was a little bit of a bait and switch. So but
Although Jade has got a much darker complexion than
well, she's mixed
the
race,
baby
and,
did.
and she's mixed race, and the baby was definitely
Was
Caucasian. So
Yeah, I was like, I mean,
so
but that's
if
what I
they
said.
pull
I was
that
like,
off,
well, and I was
yeah.
like, I didn't care. Like I was like, okay, I mean, whatever. I didn't care. Like
Yeah, no, likewise, I didn't care either, but it did hit my. You do think it, you know what I mean? You can't help it,
yeah,
like because it's continuity in the day. But fair enough. All
yeah.
right, so but because I mean the baby was ginger, and then they fucking made it blonde, but they did kind of explain that in the second episode. So,
Yeah,
but
they're like, "Oh, you were a blonde, or you had red hair when you were born." I'm like, "Oh God." I'm like, "Okay." Yeah. But isn't it the original actress? It's the lady who's playing Elnora the original actress? I
no,
can't
because
remember.
the original actress. So yeah, well, I mean there were different babies who played
Yeah, there were
Alora.
triplets, I think,
Yeah,
or twins or
no,
something like
no.
that.
You had twins. You had twins for the elder baby, and you had one baby for the younger baby, because we did
Oh,
see the
no,
baby grow. We did see the baby
yeah,
age.
and this actress was born in 1997, so it could not have been her,
No,
because
yeah,
the
exactly.
first movie was made in 1988. So
Yeah.
did they say? I missed if they said it. How long does this take place
Well, they said
after the first
200
movie?
moons, and apparently, 12 moons. 12 moons is 1 year. I
Okay,
think is what.
so a full moon to a full moon to not a half moon. What am I thinking? A full moon to a what's the other moon? Like
We can do you can do the mathematics right now if we have to.
yeah.
Um, I think it's 12 moons to a year. This is why I picked up from, so. Oh,
Oh,
gosh,
16 years.
Really?
Almost 17 years. 200 divided by 12 equals
Yeah.
16.6666666667. So
Fair
almost
enough.
17 years. Well, a little over 16 and a half years.
God,
But
they're still bloody young. But
I was about to say, but yeah, it's still like, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's still been what, 35 years, and now they're saying, well, it's only been 16. Really?
Exactly. I mean, yeah, because Joanne Wally, she's a lot older now. You know, what I mean, she was a young lady. I mean, but they do the old de-aging technology. But before we get into in the second episode, I did like the way, once Willow came on the scene, I thought, yes, here he is, my man. Warwick Davis is on the scene. Now, I have to personally admit, I don't think necessarily Warwick Davis is the best actor in the world. I think some of his performance was quite wooden. Watching both episodes the second time, I got a bit more used to it, and maybe I do have to get a bit used to it because there are some actors you don't realize are not that great, but they're kind of renowned, so they end up being
Well,
endearing. Like
here's
like
my thing
Keanu
with
Reeves, for instance. He's a
well here
terrible
here's
actor.
my thing here's my thing about watching Warwick Davis in the 1988 Willow and then in this Willow. I- it's not the fact that he has terrible acting. It's just like he has the same acting. It's not like I don't feel like he has changed his acting or improved his acting since 1988. Now, I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm just saying, like, I watched the 1988 and now I'm watching this one and I'm kind of like, kind of seems it's like it's almost like the Bruce Willis, like Bruce
Hmm.
Willis, like after the first Die Hard, it's like almost like Bruce Willis was the same character in every movie after Die Hard 1 or 2. You know what I mean? Like, uh,
He
so
was,
that's why I was like,
when he made Return of the Jedi and he played Wicket in Return of the Jedi, one of the Ewoks. He was
mm-hmm,
pretty much just a child. He was a teenager when he made Willow. I think he might be 18, 19 when he made Willow. He's 52 years of age now. You know what I mean? So,
mm-hmm.
which is why he looks quite sprightly still after all this time. But fair enough. I'm sure he's not. I think because of his appearance and stuff like that, he's only ever going to get so many gigs. But he's obviously hit the jackpot with this one, and he does come back. And I like the way he revealed Alora, and then boom, on to the next episode.
All right,
So,
episode 2.
let's just quickly mark this episode. What would you want to give it?
Oh, this one I want to give it like an 8. I mean, as I said, I really enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed the lore building. I enjoyed, um, I enjoyed a lot of uh, the just the catch up. I enjoyed a lot of the catch up. Seeing the kids, but they felt more natural. Trust me, they felt like kids. Like they felt like teenagers. Uh, I just didn't realize they were that young because I thought that this was taking place relatively soon after the same amount of time that in real life has passed. So it's like what, almost 35 years. So I thought it was supposed to be like 30, like almost 35 years had passed. But then when I started to realize why can I never say her name right?
Alora.
Alora. I always want to say Elnor, and that's an
Yeah,
elf in
yeah.
Lord
I'm
of the
saying
Rings.
I'm saying that too.
Alora is, but then I could tell Alora would, I mean, maybe early 20s, but I'm like, she's not in her 30s. Absolutely not. So that's why I'm trying to figure out where this is placed. So if 12 moons equals 12 or 12 months, then that makes sense, 16 years. But still, it's like, okay, so you mean to tell me that in real life is past almost 35 years, and now it's 16 years in this universe. And I'm like, that's a hard sell. Like I could do 25 years, but like that's like almost 20 years shy of difference, between real life and, you know,
Yeah,
canon.
25 years would have been a lot better, in my opinion.
Yeah. And they just would have, I
Yeah.
mean, you would have just had, they would have been older, but who cares? Like they're 20 some. That means that they can bone if they want, like
Well,
who
they could
cares?
still be young. They didn't have to like have kids immediately. I
Yeah.
mean,
No, I
yeah.
agree. And I mean, they could still do the betrothal thing because obviously the princess is still like a servant to to the queen and everything like that. So they still could have done that whole storyline. It just, they would have been older. And I mean, let's be real. Like the actor who plays Flash Thompson, how old is he? Tony
Tony
Revolori.
Revolori.
I mean, how old is
That's
he?
it.
He's 26 right now. Like that's
He's
perfect.
26.
So I mean, like
Yeah.
we really could have done 25 years. How old is, I'm just trying to figure out, Ruby Cruz? How old is she? She is,
Ruby
doesn't
Cruz,
say.
they don't mention her age.
No, I meant like in real life. Like,
No, they don't mention her age. That's a couple of people they don't mention the age of.
I know, but we have to assume that they're relatively close to
I agree.
Alora's. Huh?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think that like they're in their 20s for sure.
So that would have fit perfectly. Like, I mean, I don't understand why they didn't just make it 25 years instead of 16 years. And then now watch, it is probably 25 years. There's probably some bullshit in canon reason why there's like extra or less moons in
Actually,
a
even
month or
like
something.
yeah, I mean, Alora's 20. The actress is 25 years old. I mean, she's
Yeah.
obviously playing someone younger, but the point is, like these people, they don't have to get married until their 20s anyway. So
Yeah.
instead of having them marry, yeah, I know it's a medieval setting and stuff like that, so they're trying to be a bit more realistic in that sort of sense. But then if that was the case, I would always say get rid of the fucking American accents. But nevertheless, yeah, you could write it any way you want, what I mean, and regarding the time jump. But regardless of that, in episode 2, we got some
Did you
more.
rank it yet? Or
I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. I was a bit
okay.
concerned watching the first episode. I thinking to myself, oh boy, maybe this is not going to be as good as I expected it to be. But I would say, personally, when it came to episode 2, it got a little bit better once we met up with Willow and his folk, and it was good to see his daughter there. I thought she was brilliant. Um,
Oh yeah, actually, I felt like she was a better actor than than Warwick was.
yeah. So
As I said, I'm not
his
shitting
name
on
is not
Warwick.
his
I
name is
like
not
Warwick.
Warwick. It's Warwick. The W is
Warwick.
silent.
Sorry.
The
Okay.
second W is silent. You know what I mean? But it's how us Brits do things.
I'm
But
about to say you
yeah.
fucking wits.
So nevertheless, yeah. He invites all these people, this entire quest group into his community and stuff like that. The daughter's obviously mesmerized because she found Alora when she was a baby, and says she was the most
Hmm.
beautiful giant baby they've ever seen. We go back to the old finger of power trick and stuff like that, and he's basically trying to tell her, because he's now the High Aldwin now, which is the name of this episode. The first episode was called Gale's, so this episode is called the High Aldwin, and he is now like probably pretty much the guy in charge, I guess,
Hmm.
isn't it?
Yep.
And
Also, before you move on, I just want to really quick say, hit the poll in the comments section for what your rating for episode 1 is, and also there's like 11, 12 people watching right now on YouTube, and we've got 4 likes. So try to hit that like; it helps with the algorithm. A little bit of self promotion here. But yeah, if you guys could just hit that like button, we'd greatly appreciate it. Anyway, go ahead, Sam. Sorry.
yeah, and so they bring him into their village, and I'm not even sure if I forgot to mention this, but they are looking for the brother, um Eric, but
Arik.
he's been kidnapped. We haven't really been explained why he's been kidnapped, but he has been kidnapped, and they are on a hunt for him, which is the whole point of this quest. And I forgot to mention earlier in episode 1, their leader, that old man, he got shot through the chest and he died. That
Oh
was
yeah, that was I okay, that was the part I was kind of like, "Really?" Like, I mean, I should have known because he's an old dude and he's going. It's like, "Oh yeah, he's probably dead." But like, yeah, like they just shot him in the chest and it's like, "Oh god."
But I like the way that you need to keep your wits about you and keep an eye on everything, and then boom, the irony, getting shot
That
in the chest
that was a
immediately.
pure Samuel L. Jackson Deep Blue Sea moment right there. I mean,
Yeah, for sure. So we see the patrons, and we see some of the stuff that harken back to the original movie and all of that. And I like the way that his people, they question stuff. He's even got his own apprentice as well. They want to believe Alora is all magical and stuff like that, but she fails the test. But I like the way that I called him Wicket. Willow said that I failed it the first time as well. So don't don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. But then obviously they go on. Do they go on the road? I'm trying to even remember.
No, they
because
stay there for a while, and because Willow
we
keeps on
get
saying he's going to
flashbacks.
train her. Yeah.
So hold on, what the fuck's that? 1 second, dude. Something's happening. You bastard bitch! This is my chair now, motherfucker. My chair. My chair. Now get out of here now and give me your goddamn clothes. Okay. I'm gone. Just don't hurt me, please. Motherfucker, you better get the fuck out of here now, you son of a
Oh
bitch.
no.
I will fucking kill you. This is my fucking. I told you, motherfucker. I'll be coming back here. I'll be coming back here on December the 1st, and I see it's December the 1st right now, and you are fucking sitting on my chair. Motherfucker, you Ben Joy Haram Zadeh, boss, get the fuck out of here now, you son of a bitch. Okay, I'm going. I'm going. Just don't hurt me, please. Please don't hurt me. I'm gonna, I'm gonna, I'm going. Just leave me alone. And remember, give me your fucking clothes. I want your fucking clothes. Yeah, everything you have is mine. All of it is mine. Okay? Okay. I'm giving you all. I promise you. Just leave me alone. Where shall I go? You motherfucker, you go in the basement. That's where you belong. In the goddamn basement. Okay. I'm off to the basement. Okay, Santa Claus is here. I'm just getting myself ready on the chair. I know you guys are looking forward to seeing me.
Welcome to December, everybody.
Oh, oh,
Oh
hey,
boy. And
how you
Xanta is
doing?
back.
How you doing, my friend? Go, cousin Gito. Good to see you,
It's
my
been a long 11 months.
friend.
I'll tell you what.
Oh
I'll tell you
yes,
what.
oh
Dealing
yes.
with Zam for 11 months is just brutal. But having this 1 month to be able to not have to deal with him,
Uh huh.
so nice.
Oh, my friend. It's so good to see you again. Have you been a good little boy? Have
Oh
you?
yeah, I've been a good boy. I've been good.
Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know. So,
You know me. I'm the good one.
oh yes. It's my darling Daniel Vance. He's such a lovely little boy. I want to give him loads of gifts. Let me show you, Daniel. I have a big fat sack, and I want to empty it all over your head. Oh God, I really do. Welcome back, Daniel Vance. Oh, maybe I'm the person who should be welcoming back because it's me, Janta, the greatest thing on earth too. Okay, so where were we, my friend?
We were talking about episode 2 of Willow. The
Willow, yes.
yeah,
The Willow, the little Santa's helper. Yes,
yes, that's right.
yes,
Little Santa's
yes,
helper.
yes, yes,
Little
yes.
Santa's helper is Willow.
I have many like a willow in my grotto. In my grotto,
Oh,
my friend. Yes, I do. I like a willow. Yes, it is very nice and compact. I can put him in my pocket. Yeah. Okay, so episode 2, huh? Yes, I thought it was very good, huh? I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's very good. The adventure begins in episode 2. And I do remember there was like a flashback with some
hmm
de-aging. Do you remember?
I really just feel like they just threw him a goatee on Warwick Davis, or yeah, Warwick
Oh,
Davis,
I
and
know how that feels. People did putting on facial hair and stuff like that. I know. I know.
yep.
Yes. So yeah,
So yeah,
it is a bit amusing, and I he meets the uh, he meets the queen, and she says, "You'll never be a sorcerer. You know, you're you're not good enough." Like what the fuck in your face, Willow? Huh?
I know it is actually I meant I forgot to mention this in the first episode, but I was just trying to make it through with without strangling Zam. So But yeah, like I really feel like the queen's kind of gone on like absolute dick mode at this point, like in these first two episodes, and she's kind of turning into her mother in some aspects.
Well, you know how it is, the mother, they always get a bit more harder as they get a bit more older. They have so much wisdom. They learn so much. And trust me, her mom was nothing like how she is. Her mom was another level. So yes, but yeah, I do remember that when Willow sees Elora, when she was just a child, they start talking. He gives away a little bit of the reasoning why, or basically explaining to her who she is. And then the queen comes out and she's very angry. She's not happy at all, regarding this. But I do like what Willow responded, saying she's just as much as my child as she is your child. And I thought that was a good response. And then he walks away and he's not happy. So him and the queen have had a falling out, so to speak.
Hmm.
So it'll be good to see if that gets repaired. But also, another thing, Mad Martigan is not dead, I believe.
I mean,
He's just somewhere.
they've hinted that he's not dead, like that he's just missing and he's just MIA.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yes, 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 my friend. So I don't know how we're gonna get him back in the future because personally, with the way Valkymer is, and he'll never be the same again, it would have been better off if we killed off Mad Martigan at the beginning of this. But now
I
we
That's kind
know
of where
that.
I thought they were going to go with it.
Yes, yes, yes. I totally agree. But now we know that Mad Martigan is still alive. How the hell are they going to do this? Because people don't want to fucking recast. They want Val goddamn Kilmer. If you're going to keep Warwick Davis and John Wally, then we want Val Kilmer. Now, John Wally and Val Kilmer are divorced. Maybe they don't want to see each other again in real life. Who knows? But yes, they definitely left themselves a kind of worms that needs to be closed because it has opened regarding that particular thing. So we'll see how that turns out too. But we do have these evil knights. They're going after Alora now. You know.
Hmm.
Now the lead knight, he is actually quite a common British actor whose voice is very unique and he's used in lots of commercials. I forgot his name, but I recognize his voice. He's always used in commercials. But eventually, as they go around and all of this, and Flash Thompson's hitting on her and all of that, eventually she's been trying to be taught magic, because, you know, she's a bit like she's Ray and, Willow is like Luke Skywalker and is trying to teach her the magic and all of this. And
Hmm.
she's saying all of these words, and all of these words are not necessarily coming out correctly. But when she finally says the words, she gets punched in the face and kidnapped. And then you see a little plant growing, and that's how the episode ends. Oh, and also, we get another flash forward. And Willow says that everybody dies. Kind of reminds me of Age of Ultron when Iron Man had that flash forward as well.
Yep, that's actually a really good comparison. I didn't think about that one,
Oh
but yeah,
yes,
that it says.
oh yes, my friend. I'm very good at the comparisons. Very good, very good. So yeah, we'll see what happens now. She's been kidnapped. I do like some of the music they have to end the episodes. It's quite catchy, So I enjoyed episode two. It was much better, I felt like we were getting into the swing of things. Alora firing up from Willow as well was very funny. So yeah, that was a good episode.
I don't know. I felt like a lot of the Alora stuff felt very forced. I mean, that was kind of some of my issues with it. Is like, as I said, I'm not a huge fan of Dove or whatever. Or what was her name? But Buford or whatever her name is. I don't even remember. Like what her real name, like not her actress name, but her
Oh,
real name.
Broomhilda.
Yeah, Broomhilda. I'm like, you even what even the one guy's like, whoo, that's that's got to sting.
Oh yes, my friend. Very, very unusual name.
Xanta,
So,
why don't you bring Brumhilda a new name for Christmas?
oh, she's got a couple. She's called Dove, and she's called Elora, which is her real name. You know, this Broomhilda, they gave her a very unusual name to be a million miles away from her real name. That's what they called her, Broomhilda. So
Yeah,
yeah, so nobody could understand. But obviously, the only person who does know who she really was the queen, because she had always you know, a liking to her maid and all of that. But then we found out why, because she's the chosen one.
well, and isn't it the original handmaiden or whatever who helped her escape originally in the original movie? Wasn't that
No,
the
she
old
got
lady?
killed. She got killed. Remember?
Oh yeah, she did
She got
get killed.
eaten
You're
by
right.
dogs,
Yeah,
hellhound
and
or something like that.
hellhounds or whatever.
We also saw the wand as well. So the wand is there too. So and we got some callbacks to some previous characters like the witch, from the first movie, from the original movie, the good witch that was transformed into animals and
Hmm.
stuff like that. So yeah, and the wand was passed on to Willow, and that wand would then pass on to Aldora to see how it goes. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna mark this episode if you don't mind.
That's fine. Go ahead.
I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I think episode two kind of got me on board with this series. I was thinking to myself, okay, episode one wasn't too great, but episode two, Willow is fully in this. We see his people, his daughter. You know, we kind of get an idea who the antagonists are and all of that. Yeah. I thought episode two was a lot better than episode one, which is why I give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
How about yourself?
I,
When you can get your face away from what you're goddamn looking at, man. We've got a show to do, my friend.
yeah. Um. Actually, it was work, so I'm sorry. But I
Okay,
was
no
trying to
problem.
downplay. I know. I'm going between a 6 and a 7. I don't know. I mean, as I said, there were definitely some cringe moments for me. Um, I'm gonna give it a very generous 7. I'm gonna give it a very generous 7. I was leaning towards a 6, but but yeah, I there were definitely some moments in here, and as I said, as the episode went on, it got better, but there was definitely just a lot of I don't know, just moments that just like especially in the beginning with Willow and his people. It's just like okay, like we get it. It's a throwback to the original, but you figure Willow would have changed some things over the years because it seemed like in the movie he didn't like what was going on. So I don't know, just some stuff didn't add up there
Well,
to me and stuff
as I
like
said
that.
earlier, he had a falling out with the Queen, which is why he hasn't seen the Queen in
Yeah.
years. They fell out, and there's only so much of a magician that he can be. He can't just conjure up spells. He can't. He can't. Remember somebody said, "Can you not just do a magic spell where you make food?" He can't do that. There's. I like the fact there's limitations to his magic. Like he can't just conjure things out of thin air.
Yeah.
Stuff like
Well,
that. So,
yeah, he's not a fucking replicator, you know.
hello, Jim. Jiminy, Jim. Yes, Jim. Yes,
Zam, you need or I'm sorry, Santa Claus, you need to bring us some of that tinsel that you're smoking up at the North Pole.
Oh, no, 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 no. I don't smoke a tinsel. I eat curry. I have reindeer curry because sometimes my reindeer, they get a bit old and they're not good anymore. So I killed them in the Santa Claus style, and I make a curry out of them. I
Okay.
like a curry. Yes, yes, yes. I just realized something. God damn it! Let me just remove this. This is not Zam. How dare Zam leave and call me fucking Zam? That's not happening now. Not on my watch. This is not Zam. This is.
Already got it.
I got to my friend. This is Zanta. Laugh out loud. Oh, that strange weed going. Oh, there's no weed here, my friend. I don't smoke a little weed. I don't need
I
to
never
do
said
this
weed. I
one.
said tinsel.
No, oh, look at this Jim. I heard he likes to cut the grass, huh? He likes to
Oh, he
cut
does
the
like to cut the
grass.
grass. You're right.
He likes to smoke the grass. Yes,
And cut the grass.
he knows all. If anybody knows about weed, whether it be digging them out of the ground or putting it into a joint, it's Jim, huh? Jim, Marabai, Jim. Yes, yes. Okay, so tomorrow, what's on the show, my friend? Because I'm here now for the next 24 days. Oh, lucky you. Yes.
Tomorrow is going to be Star Trek Prodigy, and then the day after that is going to
Oh,
be DC Titans.
now
And go ahead.
I I would when I was in the North Pole, I was watching this goddamn channel. This Jim, he never saw the last episode of Prodigy. So Jim, Marabai, you better watch the next episode, okay? Because Dante's not going to be very happy if you don't watch. I will put a goddamn call in your goddamn shoe if you don't watch the next episode, okay? Good. Good, 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 good. Goody, goody gumdrops. Okay. And then what we're doing on
Okay.
Friday?
Friday is Titans. We're
Mm-hmm.
doing more Titans, and
More Titans. I like a
Mhm.
Titan, I like a big fat Titan. Yes, yes, yes. I look forward to talking about that too. Mm,
Mhm.
okay. And then anything else after that?
I don't know about this weekend. I mean, we were kind of talking about doing some stuff. We were talking about doing a Phase 4 tier list.
Uh-huh.
So you can join us for that because Zam obviously will not be around. So if you want to
Oh,
join us for
damn,
that,
damn is
me and
fucked off. I've
yeah.
taken his
So
clothes. Look, I've taken his clothes. I've taken everything from him. I got his fucking birds. I got his fucking room. I got everything. Everything Sam has is now mine.
yippers. So
Yes.
yeah, next 24 days are going to be blissful, I guess. I mean, I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy my Zam vacation.
I have to ask you, are you looking forward to the next episode of Willow?
I am, yes, because I mean, as I said, the second episode was not terrible. It did have some moments where I was like, ugh. And I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm used to my Wednesdays being filled with like really good content, whereas this content seems a little. I'm not gonna kind of middle of the road. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm hoping next week will be another a turn back up, and it'll be, um, it'll be good. So here's hoping. Man, you
I'm
stole
dingling
Zam's
all the way.
you stole Zam's phone too.
I told you, everything Sam owns is now mine. I might as well be Sam in fucking disguise, you know? So everything he owns is mine. I'm going to pretend to be Sam. I can even look, I can sound like Sam, no problem. You see,
That's
I
because you're
can
a
do
great
it.
actor.
Oh, thank you very much, my friend. Very, very, very nice of you. So I think it's about time we wrap this up, huh? Wrap this up like one of Commodore Boone's joints, huh? Oh, you want me to send you a reminder? Send you a reminder, dude. You are the reminder. You know you have one of these. It's called a goddamn pawn. You get your pawn and you put the you put the oh,
Bada,
I'm
bada,
making
bada, bada.
myself. You put the goddamn reminder in the goddamn pawn, and then you remember. Or if you're old school, use a post-it note and stick it on the place where you constantly visit, aka the toilet or the fridge. And that way you never forget.
Oh God, no. Toilet or the fridge. I'm just gonna start putting sticky notes on top of my toilet.
Okay. So yeah. What the hell is this? I don't read Hillbilly. I'm not really good at it. Can you, you're closer to the deep south. Do you understand what this means, huh? Is it God?
I,
What?
I
What?
think
What? What? What?
I
What?
think he's just
What?
slamming on the keyboard with his penis and just then typed what with question marks
What?
after it.
Very good, my friend. Very good. Well, I look forward to meeting this Jim. I just look forward to meeting Jimmy. Jim. I look forward to meeting you, my friend. It'll be interesting time tomorrow talking about Podity. Podity, Star Trek Podity. Uh-huh. Haji. We call it Star Trek Haji. Yes. I look forward to it. I hope the people who come here to watch our Willow review will join us tomorrow for Star Trek Podity. Oh, yes.
But
It'll
yeah,
be very good fun.
my favorite show,
Oh,
my
yes. I know you love.
friends.
Yes. That's my catchphrase. And if you want to use it, you have to ask my permission because it's copyrighted. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right. So please, if you don't mind, as I'm pretty new to this, it's been almost a year. Can you sign us off?
Sure. Do you want me to sign us off?
Yes, please.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you very much for joining us. Xanta, thank you very much for coming back this
Oh,
year.
I'm so happy right now. This is as Zam would say, the greatest day of my entire life.
Yes, and it's going to be the greatest month of your entire life. But
Uh-huh.
with that all being said, everybody, thank you very much for joining us. Xanta, thank you very much for joining us. Everyone in the comments, thank you very much for joining us and chatting. We will catch you guys next week for Willow episode 3. We will catch you tomorrow for Star Trek Prodigy episode, I think it's 16, 17, I don't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know you're just getting in the swing of things, Xanta. It's okay. We got you. Let me come under my wing. I will help. I will support you.
Oh, thank
Anyway,
you very much.
with all that being said, everybody, thank you very much. We are NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel you should have heard of by now. We will catch you in the next one. Bye bye.